Shalom, shalom, everyone. Welcome once again to Shabbat Night Talk. My name is Chief Uzziel Lewi. I'm one of the teachers of Congregation Beit D.C.B, CHOKMAH BINAH. And we're here bringing you the live Shabbat Night Talk. I'd like to start out by giving all glory to the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, to the supreme intellect of the universe, Yehovah, the Lord of hosts. And it's he and he alone, it is to him and he alone that we give honor and praises to. We almost say hallelujah, great King. I thank him for all of those that I love, the life of my children, family. Thanking the Most High Yah for all things and everything. Torah Yah for my life, food, clothing, and shelter. To the people on Facebook Live, is the coming out in landscape mode? Is it straight? Because last week Facebook Live did something. They updated and they forgot to allow view. And for those of you, well, I could see it on my other phone. Yes, it's coming out landscape view. For those of you that don't know about the landscape view, well, that's the side view, the long view. So shalom to everyone. Thank you everyone for tuning in. You know what we do on Shabbat night. We usually go over some scriptures, or we just chat. Sometimes we have guests. Excuse me for last week not coming on, but I was extremely tired. I needed to rest. So every now and then I take a break. You know, every now and then the man needs a vacation. Torah, Adam ben Adam. Shalom to everybody. Shalom, Ima Naomi. Mazaria, Abdil Yah. Everybody over here on YouTube. Hope that you enjoyed your Shabbat meal. Remember, we do Shabbat meals. We don't do Sunday dinners. Sunday dinners was dead when we left the church. So now we're Sabbath observers. So now we do the Shabbat meal. Am I right or wrong? Shabbat meal. Shabbat Shalom Malka. Yeah, I could continue to do that. Today I dropped a video that was like a bombshell. Tommy Kirk Todd, let me invite you in. Accept my invite to be a guest on Facebook Live. Hopefully you accept my invite. I want to see how it works. Come in. Shalom, my brother Ashriel, Malachi, Yisrael. Shabbat Shalom to all of you. Like I said, I dropped a bomb earlier. Tell me, I don't know if you could join me. I just invited you to come in and join me. I wanted to talk to you about a couple of things, but I don't know if you know how to join in. Shalom, Alex. Wapen Lao. Everything cool? My brother Alex. And to everyone out there, Shabbat Shalom. Let me see what's going on the on the feed. Give me a second here. On my YouTube feed. My brother Talmud, if you can you join me on the Facebook Live? I just sent you an invite. Shalom, Imahab Red. Shalom, brother Mordecai, and everybody else who will be joining us on YouTube. Shalom, Adon Moshe Yisrael. What do I think about it? You share with me with brother talking about Shema Yisrael camp, enemy to the truth. I don't think that they're enemy to the truth. I tell you that. The brother I think the brother was kind of, you know, maybe he got touched by something that was said, but enemy to the truth, that's a reach. Shabbat Shalom, Talmud Kirk. I try to invite you into this Facebook Live. Try to invite you. Let me see if I could invite you again. I don't know if I could. I tried inviting you, but trying to see how this thing works. Let me see if I can invite this guy right here. Let me see if he's willing to come into the chat. Let me see if he accepts my invite. Tired because we did kind of well, he did. My brother, as we know him, Zion Lex, but I know him as Chief Uzziel Lewi. He dropped some jewels. If you haven't seen the video, you could go on my Uzziel Lewi YouTube page. You can see the video there. It's about a 30-minute video. Also on my Facebook page, you can see it there. Also, I thank Yah, man. I thank Yah. I feel great. I've been losing some weight, getting back into shape. Just feel great. Yah has blessed me. You know, we go through our ups and downs in our lives, but it is what it is. You know, you roll with the punches, but you thank Yah for everything that he gives you, and everything that Yah gives us is a blessing. I want to first start out by saying this. I send out my condolences to the family of Mordeh Yiftach Ben Dan, who lost his only other sibling, his brother, who passed away this past Monday. Young Shaney. So our condolences and our prayers go out to that family. Definitely Mordeh Yiftach is a great friend. Always gives me good advice, and of course, I hope that we all have a moment and a time. And there is a GoFundMe account on my Facebook page, if you know it, where, you know, the family is looking for help to put away their son, their brother, uncle, father. So we could do that. We could start doing that tomorrow night because it's the Shabbat, and I wouldn't tell anybody to go do that right now on Shabbat. So let's support our brother Mordeh Yiftach. Definitely a great teacher. You know, brings a lot of knowledge to the D.C.B platform. He's one of the teachers amongst us. So just it's a sad thing. So let's just all be there for our brother Mordeh Yiftach. Also, prayers and condolences go out to our brother Chief Yahoshua. Yeah. So our brother Talmud, I'm talking about you joining in right now. That's why I sent you the invite on Facebook. So I didn't know if I wanted to discuss something about your book. So I didn't know if you were up for that. I don't know if it works on Android. It seemed like it works on Android now, but you an invite. I don't know how it works out for you. So yeah, to our brother Chief Yahoshua, who also lost he lost a son. We send out prayers and love for him and his family. Everybody in that family, we pray that the Most High God be with them. Shabbat Shalom, Ima. Lucy, Alicia Dai. We thank the Most High God for all Yisrael scattered in the four corners of the earth. All of us who are going through an ordeal, we pray that Yahweh will continue to be with us and bless us and give us. Trying to invite this guy right here, but nada. Not getting nada over here. Let me see if I can invite him again. I just sent you an invite again. Let's see if you could get in. I'm trying this thing out. So you be the first person that I'm trying this thing out with, Brother Talmud. I don't know if it works with Android. Shabbat Shalom, Ima Naomi. To see you on live with us. Thanking the Creator for this day. Thanking the Creator for understanding. Even Naomi been around for almost going, I believe, going on 5 decades. Yeah, that's a long time to be doing Torah, and it's to be commended. So, and also with one of my teachers, she is the wife of one of my teachers, Chief Elazar ben Lewi, who ingrained in us the dietary law and many other laws, but he was a stickler for the dietary law. And that's why so many of us that came from that school of understanding, we push certain things which are very important, like not eating out of any common place, the significance of cross-contamination, how certain foods contaminate others, certain meats contaminate others. Like I always say, he was I knew all the stuff Dr. D.C.B was saying. I heard him say it almost 30 years ago. You know, he would walk around with a lemon, sucking on a lemon straight up. I ain't never seen nobody else do that. And now these are all the things that they tell you are beneficial for you. You know, he would tell you boil some ginger, all the things that people are doing now, flaxseed, and herbs cured many diseases, cancer, things of that nature. Get you in shape if you needed to be in shape. So those of us that fell off is because we just went off the plan, what he put us on, and what the understanding that the Most High God gave him for us to walk in a certain way. So we fell off and got sloppy and got fat and all that stuff because we got slack, you know, and not so much in eating unclean, but in being disciplined and what we're eating and how we're controlling our portions and stuff like that. Because he used to tell us about all that stuff. You know, he used to tell us you don't want, he would tell you things like, you don't want 40 to catch you with a big belly because then it's going to be difficult for you to get rid of it. You know what I'm saying? Like things like that he would tell us. And this is stuff that doctors is telling us now. And it's like, oh, you know, it's great science and this. He would tell us things like red meat. For your body to digest red meat, it will take such a long time. And it's true. If you eat red meat, you see how heavy it stays in your system. You know, so he used to, I mean, he knew these things back then. So yeah, man, he tell you eating like a, I forgot the word he used to, a real good imitation of my teacher. I used to call you what was the word he used to call you? I forgot the word he used to use. I know you call you monkey. But it's real. You know what I'm saying? I learned a lot from him. Got a lot of wisdom from him. A lot of things from him and from my father-in-law, Chief Amos Ben. Most High God bless his memory. And those teachings are priceless. Those teachings are priceless. I got a lot of his teachings on cassette. So every now and then I pop them in and get that old fire. So it's a blessing that he's still here, he's still around, could still teach and tell people, what to do and what not to do. And those are things that you can't take for granted. Just thanking the Most High God for all things and everything. Shabbat Shalom, Anita Diggs. Hebrew family of South Florida. Shalom, shalom. Shout out to all of you. Let me see if somebody could join in, man. I'm not sure. I'm trying to work this out. Trying to see if somebody could join me in. Who wants to join in on Facebook Live? I'm trying to see if this thing works. Just hit me up. Oh, all right. Just hold the book and smile. No, I wanted to discuss the book with you. I don't know if you want to come on the YouTube. You want me to send you the YouTube link and you join me on YouTube. But it's a really nice book. It's called The 176 Nevers to Remember, the Sacred Name Edition. And then they got the Y, the H, the W, the H, which stands for the name of the Most High. Right? The acronym. So I was reading page 2 of the book, and it reads, this is actually the first nevers, right, to remember. Written by Kersey and Lolita Todd. This is the book right here for all of you that are looking. Some real nice stuff in here. It reads, I believe it's on Amazon. Number 1, never forget that Yah has already made known our identity within the pages of the Torah. And I found this very, very profound, because conversation that we had yesterday, for those of you that might not know, I put up a video with Chief Benjamin explaining Psalms 22 verses 16 and 17, where he was breaking down, many Christians use those verses to say that this is a future prophecy of Jesus's crucifixion. So in the midst of Chief Benjamin breaking that down, which he did an excellent job, a European Jew that came on and just basically questioned, the validity of the breakdown, and he disagreed with the breakdown and questioned some of the things. And then we got into a broader conversation about identity, who we were, and he basically didn't respect us as Israel, or questioned the brother Benjamin, because if you know our brother Chief Benjamin, he went through the Rabbinic Academy, the Israelite Rabbinic Academy, and became a rabbi. So in the video, I put the title of Rabbi Chief Benjamin, because he earned his title as a rabbi. Whether you agree with it or not, whether some Israelites agree with it or not, with the title rabbi or not, the man went through a school, he earned the title. It's like somebody going to school to become a doctor, they earned the title, that's what he is. So, this European, he began to question the Rabbinic Academy or whatever. So I asked him, I said, who the heck gave y'all authority to become rabbinic, to have a school, so many centuries back? Rabbi just means master teacher. So we have plenty of master teachers in the midst of our community. I just finished talking about one, Chief Elazar. So we got plenty of, if Chief Elazar decided to call himself a rabbi tomorrow or today, I wouldn't have a problem with that. All it means is teacher. Oh, but you know, this school and this, that, and the third, and you know, we got into that conversation. Then it got into the conversation of identity and who we were, and blah, 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 and who the true children of Israel were. And you know, he tried to say, you know, one day and called ourselves Israel or whatever. So that's when the brothers Zion Lex went into their literature, you know, into the I believe it was the Talmud. He went into their literature and showed how the Jews that migrated to Israel, the Europeans that migrated to Israel in the, I believe, the 18th or 17th century, they sent for Israelites what they call the 10 lost tribes into Africa. That says beyond, right? Or over the river of Cush or the river of Nubia. That's Africa. That's West Africa. And he explained it in the video how these particular European rabbis sent for these quote unquote Israelites that were in Africa, you know, the true house of Israel that were in Africa, and they wanted to bring them back to Israel so that they could ordain the Europeans as rabbis. As he called them like that. That's the ordination. Prove without a shadow of a doubt that knew that the people were black, you know, and they needed that from those lost tribes, as they call them, to come back and ordain them as rabbis. So it was very interesting, the conversation. And it went into identity and stuff like that. So when I read this from my brother and my sister's book, Yahweh has already made known our identity within the pages of the Torah. Knowledge of self is only possible. This is the commentary behind that statement. Knowledge of self is only possible by searching the Torah about ourselves and our requirements to Yah. So the way I look at it, that first statement, the never forget that Yahweh, that Yah has already made known our identity within the pages of the Torah. Now, one of the ways that we could also see that is through the prophecy of Deuteronomy 28, that through various statements when Moses was mistaken as an Egyptian, when Joseph was mistaken as an Egyptian. It shows identity. It shows that these people were people of color, people with melanin. The Egyptians were Hamitic people, right? Meaning that there were people of color from Ham. Now, even the European Jew tells you that, and this is what they say. They said the black race comes from Ham. So if the son of Ham, which is Mizraim, and Mizraim, right, the Egyptian name for the Greek name for Mizraim is Egypt, as what we know as Egypt today. If ancient Egyptians were black people because they were Hamitic, then that means Moses, Joseph, the 11 brothers, they all had to look like Egyptians because they were mistaken as Egyptians. Now, to be mistaken as a people doesn't only mean the clothes that you wear, but it also means the color of your skin and how you look. So obviously us and the Egyptians had some similarities, or we could blend in. So when I read this, the first never in their book, it says, never forget that Yah has already made known our identity within the pages of the Torah. All we have to do is search for it and we will find it. So it's within the pages of the Torah. All we have to do is read certain things, and it'll be there. It'll be there for us. Shabbat shalom, everybody else. Frankie Allen, Chana Lewi, Kasidia Yehuda, Basheba Yisrael, my sister Dina. Hope all is well with you. Marsha Yisrael, Ashriel Levy. And J Mark 55. Thank you for the compliment. I mean, I haven't seen one of these in a long time. Wow. All right. Ima Red must not be on. Let me block this fool. Ima Matania Lewi. So yes, not Asira, Shabbat Shalom sis. Yes, ignorance. But it's cool, you know. You gotta have some haters out there. That's cool. So now here, I found another one here. It says, never miss a day at trying to be the best before Yah, our Elohim. That's number 7. And he goes on, and the commentary underneath is, when we arise in the morning, we shall always strive to be the best that we can be, since he blessed us with another day. So let's use our time wisely that we have upon the earth, right? Never miss a day of trying to be the best before the face of Yah, our Elohim. So before the Most High God and man, we always should strive to do our best, right? And no matter what we do and how we deal with each other, how we make promises, how we interact with each other, offend, things that are important, good and right before Yah, and not only Yah, but before man. Important. When we make promises, when we say things out of our mouth for us to honor them, these are all things that the Most High delights in, and we have to be aware of. So those are things that we just have to keep in mind. Very good book. It's a lot of points in here. This one is good. Never offer anything to Yah that you no longer desire to keep yourself. What we offer as a sacrifice to Yah should be our best. Normally, we desire to keep our best because we see the benefits of having it. Nevertheless, our love for Yah shall outweigh what we desire to keep. And this is true even with the offerings and the sacrifice. The Most High God tells you, or tells us, to give the first, right? The first male of the first year, whatever it might be, without blemish. So that's your best. That's the strength. God said, give that to him. The first of your harvest, the first of this, the first of that. So, you know, even this book is intertwined with Torah. We always got to give Yah our best. We can't go to God half-stepping. Even in our meditation before him, or in anything that we do, we have to come to God prepared. Like I said, this is a nice little book. You know, it got many pages. It got 50 short pages. It's a nice little book. It said, never as children must remember. This is at the 49th page. Never think that talking back to your parents proves you're grown. It only shows you are still a child. And then they write underneath it, commentary not needed. And furthermore, if you was in the land, you'd be dealt with. A lot of the things that our children get away with today, it's a result of no corporal punishment for them. Because this country don't believe in putting children or stoning children and doing things to that matter. God said, if you have a glutton or rebellious child, you can't do anything else with them. So you bring them up to the judges and you take care of those brats. And you know what happens? When a brat sees another brat losing their lives, the brat that's still alive straightens up, because that brat understands that there's a possibility that he will be taken up out of here. That's what the judgments are for, to keep us in check, to keep us flying right, to keep us on a straight and narrow. But because we don't see that and we don't see the punishment in it, you have a bunch of our children running wild and just being out there. So that's what's going on with that. It says here, never take the instructions of your father or mother lightly, for Yah doesn't. Because you have to honor your father. What that means is you have to honor your mother and your father. Shabbat Shalom, Laura Carver. Ima Avinia, Shalom, Shalom. So through your parents, initially is how you learn about the Creator. So you have to honor your parents. You know, the laws in honoring parents go so deep. It says, if you curse your parents, that you shall be put to death. Now, cursing is not what we know today as vulgarity. We call that cursing today. But cursing is like wishing some bad upon them, right? Wishing something to happen to them, devastating, or something going wrong before them. That's a curse. Curse a person. Because there is no four-letter words in the Hebrew language. Maybe now they made up some stuff, but in ancient Hebrew there is no such thing as foul language as we would know. So it wasn't talking about four-letter words. It was talking about wishing or desiring something to go wrong upon them. So when this says never take the instructions of your father or mother, doesn't, that means that you have to follow in their steps and when they're trying to guide you on the right path. It's important to do that. Number 3, right? In the back, in the never for children. Never do what your friends are doing if it goes against the instructions of Yah and your parents. Think about that. Peer pressure is a mother, as they say. A lot of children follow what their friends are doing. They tend to want to be everybody else. They want to follow what everybody else is doing. And because we live in this society and we have our children spend more time in school than they actually spend with us, a lot of them end up getting influenced. But remember that you have to honor your mother and your father, right? And first and foremost, you have to honor God. You have to honor the Creator. So you cannot go against the laws of God, first and foremost, and you can't go against the laws of your parents. So when they tell you, don't go there, don't do this, don't do that, you have to obey that. This is just simple and plain right here. Like I told y'all, a book, good book. Good book. It's called the 176 Nevers to Remember, the Sacred Name Edition, Yahweh, with bonus commentary, Kersey and Lolita Todd. It reads here. Here's the commentary for what I just read. Peer pressure is a term that means being pressured or negatively influenced by those within your age group. Whenever someone influences you to do the opposite of what Yah or your parents command, they are not your friend. Did you get that? That last part right there says, whenever someone, this is for children. I hope there are children out there listening to me. If there are children out there listening to me, give me a thumbs up. If there are children out there listening to me, children, might not be any children because they don't like listening to stuff like that. But if there happen to be one or two out there listening to me, just give me a thumbs up. I want you to understand what I'm saying here and what the brother and the sister wrote here. Says, whenever someone influences you to do the opposite of what Yah or your parents command, they are not your friend. Those are not your friends. Plain and simple, those are not your friends. Never bring shame to the name of Yah, your parents. You understanding that? Now, you can play around all you want to with Yah, but straight up, when those children were Elisha, the prophet, he called out to Yah, or Yah caused two she-bears to come out and eat those children up. That's true. Full of respect that you have to have for parents and for adults. And that's what's missing today. Children don't have respect for adults, respect for their parents. I seen the video on I think it was YouTube or Facebook. It was Facebook because most of my videos that I see now are on Facebook. So there was a young girl, big young girl. I mean, when I mean big, she looked like a grown woman. She wasn't like obese or anything, but she had a good size on her torah. Lady must have been like 40s, something like that. And this young girl, she might have been a teenager, 16, 17, 18, around there. And there she's mouthing off to this lady. Now, lady is really short. I mean, this teenage girl is really towering over her. And the teenage girl got weight on her. So she's mouthing. So they're going back and forth. But those of us that come from a certain era, we know when someone is sizing you up. And what I saw that lady doing is sizing that girl up because she was running her mouth so much. So at one point in the video, you know, that same short lady, because the girl was being real rude and disrespectful. Now, I'm not excusing what happened next. Spat on the young girl. Enough. And so then they lock horns. And when they lock horns, that little short lady had the leverage because she was short. That young girl go, boy, she beat that young girl up so bad. You would never have thought that Well, I come from a town where I seen stuff like that. But she wore that girl out. I mean, the police was coming, let her go. They telling her the police is coming, let her go, let her go. But the level of disrespect that you see right now is at a real high. Okay? It's crazy, really. Trope. Scared to these young monsters. Many parents are more interested in being their children's friends instead of being parents. Absolutely. And I think that that's a big problem right there. Parents, you can't be friends. Because the minute you become friends with them, they begin to take advantage, and you begin to think that you have to cave into things that you know are wrong. That's just the nature of it. You know what I'm saying? Children do all types of stuff. They tell you, I mean, they lie. They tell you things like, you know, I'm going to a friend's house, the friend cover for them. And then they end up going to some party or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you have to test them out to see if they're lying to you or if they're being truthful to you. Sometimes you have to stop by their friend's house late at night to see if they're there. You know what I'm saying? Those are things that you have to do. Because children tend to do what they want to do. And those things sometimes will cost them their lives. And they don't understand that. You see, as parents, we're concerned, we worry, and we think about them much more than what they think about themselves. So those are the things that we always racking our brains about, but they don't really see it. You know, till they get to a certain age and they begin to understand the worries that the parents had. You know, because, you know, out here, this is not like tough out here. You know, people get shot down every day. You don't know what knucklehead your son or your daughter might run across, and there you have it. It's like someone was telling me, and children are so bad now. Someone was telling me, and I haven't seen the video, basically that there was some young girls had 12-year-old girls had some slumber party or something like that, and the host or the girl who hosted the slumber party threw some boiling hot water on another girl and called it a slumber party prank or something to that nature. Now, I ain't never heard of I never been in a slumber party, but I've never heard of prank in a slumber party. Now, I've heard women doing that to men when they're angry, but I've never heard of that being a slumber party prank. So it shows the mentality of the youth and how the rebelliousness and the amount of, I don't even know what to label that. I really don't know what to label that. That's almost insidious, like to do something like that. Like, where is your mentality at 12 years old that you could boil a pot of hot water and pour it on another child? You understand what I'm saying? That's another mindset. And that's what we're dealing with today. We're dealing with that mindset. Any child that identifies themselves as a child of Yah will not bring shame to his character nor trouble their parents by their actions. That's simple and plain. It says here, number 5, never forget that this is the last one, the nevers for children. Never forget that the length of your days rise upon how you treat your parents. So this is a good book as a side note to Torah. You understand what I'm saying? People write many books, commentaries on Torah, and we read it, we buy it. The Europeans sell them, you buy them, you read them or whatever. So when a brother and sister write a book that complements Torah, I think that is nice to have. It said, never forget that the length of your days rise upon how you treat your parents. Respecting and honoring your parents is more than the words you say. It includes your actions when they're not around. Every time you walk honorably, both in their honor, every time you walk honorably, both in their presence and in their absence, it will add to your length of days. So whether they're there or not, if you walk honorably, then it will add to your days. That's beautiful. That's beautiful there. So, like I said, the name of the book, it's a nice read, 176 Nevers to Remember. Complement to Torah very well. Like I said, it's a book. It also has some open note papers in the back where you can make some notes of whatever it is that you read, and it's beautiful. I got my copy autographed, so it's a beautiful thing. So the 176 Nevers to Remember. It's a blessing. We thank, I thank the Most High God for life and understanding. It's a blessing to be alive. Don't take for granted your life, because there are a lot of people that are not here. A lot of people are dying. There are a lot of people that are getting warnings, and you don't get it because you're not in tune with the Creator. But when you're in tune with the Creator, you take heed to your signs and to your warnings. So be attentive. Always understand truth. Know that Yah is real. Find peace in your life to where you can live life stress-free, because stress kills. Understand that our only salvation is through Yah, praising the name of the Most High, and walking in His path. Nothing else. Walking in His path and nothing else. You see, when you walk in the path of Yah, then you begin to walk with a certain level of confidence that comes out of you. People come to you and ask you things. The amount of people that come and ask me, and the level of respect that you get. The level of respect that you get is not like the common person. People look at you and they understand that you demand respect. And you're not going to have it any other way. No. Police officers look at you and don't mess with you. Now, I could say this. Cops don't stop me in the streets. Only time I don't really remember ever getting pulled over. I mean, I'm not the type who drive with tinted windows in my vehicle or anything like that. But I'm not saying it can't happen to me. I'm not saying, I've been pulled over by a cop, but if I violated, and I clearly know I violated, or if I got like out tail lights or something like that, they pull you over. But just to mess with me, never had that. Because there's a certain shield that you walk with when you walking with the Creator. When you put forth a certain kind of spirit, ruach, people could feel that from you. So they don't bother you. And then I always walk with my crown. Every time you see me in the streets, every now and then when I'm in the car, I might take it off because I might just need to, relax a little, but I'm always with my crown. And I don't get bothered like that. I thank Yah for that. Because that's one of the prayers that I always give up to the Creator. Please, allow the enemies to stay at bay. not to come and bother me because it could go sour real quick, you know. And then I'm not the type that's going to be arguing with police officers. You pull me over, license, registration, and you know, when you give license, may I ask you why you pull me over for? Blah 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 blah. This is what I pull you over for, but blah blah. But since I got a brother that works on a brother who's on the job, you have to be very specific. Since I have a brother that's on the job, the times I do get pulled over, it works out for me. Just put it like that. But I don't get pulled over. I don't get pulled over. I got caught breaking. Just don't pull up behind me and whoop whoop pull over. Randomly pull me over for nothing. Torah YAH for that. And I hope, superstitious, you know, people knock on wood. I don't do that on wood. But I hope that it remains that way. But it's the spirit that you put forth, and it's a spirit of righteousness. And not saying that I'm all that or like I'm righteous, but it's a spirit, it's a ruach that you put forth, where people could see it in you and people could understand. You know, it's a funny thing when people know you, right? Like people know you as a good person, or a person that I think I'm a good person. I mean, some people might not think I'm a good person, but I think I'm a pretty good person. And that's not just boasting, but I think I'm a good person. And when you're a good person, a lot of times when people try to say something bad about you, the people who know, or the person who knows you're a good person, be like, are we talking about the same guy here? You know what I'm saying? Like, people can't believe it because of the personality and the person that you are. You know, so it's important, it's imperative to have a good spirit and to be a good person. It's imperative to be a good person. It's imperative, especially in this and doing this Torah and walking in this way. It's imperative to be a good person. I'm just saying. You don't want to be labeled as a bad person. You know, so Torah YAH for goodness. Let me see here. I want to read. I want to read a psalm. So tomorrow I'm going to do the portion, right, of 18 to 20. And right here, and within the portion is the time when King Shaul sent to get David from the house because he wanted to kill him. And Michal, when they came over, Michal said he's sick. And they said she put a teraphim with goat's hair to make it seem like it's a man. And when the guards went back to King Saul said, bring him in his bed so I could kill him. And you know, at that time David escaped through the window. Michal let him out through the window. And you know, at that point, David escapes and gets away. And he begins his journey on his own, where he had to break away from King Saul, because King Saul became envious. So the 59th Psalm is the psalm that he during this time. Psalm 59 for the leader. Al Tashket, a psalm of Dawid. Mishtam, when Shaul sent and they watched the house to kill him. Deliver me from my enemies, O my God, from them that rise up against me. Deliver me from the works of iniquity and save me from the men of blood. So Melech Dawid was a man after the heart of God. Never mind what he did and the history that he has, and we know of the things that he did. That's all fine and well. But you got to understand the wisdom of Melech Dawid. They said that the apple don't fall too far from the tree. Who was the wisest man that ever lived? King Solomon. Who was his father? Melech Dawid wasn't a dummy. He was filled with wisdom. That's how he was able to write all these psalms, and he was ready, and he was able to understand certain things, and he was able to understand his wrong. And when he did his wrong, he would come before God and repent. And the Most High God would look at his heart and say, there's no one like my servant David. Like David was one of a kind, even with his flaws. But I think that the flaws are put there for us to understand and know that, hey man, Yah is not like everybody else. Even the people who you think will be down and out, or the people who will be out the door, hey, Yah, you know, his thoughts is not our thoughts. So he bring them back from where you thought they could never come back from. It says here, for lo, they lie in wait for my soul. The impudent gather themselves together against me. So this is King David talking about Saul, King Shaul, and all his men. That, listen, they come together to try to take my life. And King David is crying out to Yah, telling Yah, listen, protect me. I'm your servant. You know, I didn't want to be in this position. You put that anointing oil on me, and now I'm in this position. It says here, not for my transgression, nor for my sin, O Yah. Verse 5, without my fault, they run and prepare themselves. Awake thou to help me and be whole. Right? Thou therefore, O Yah, God of hosts, the God of Yisrael, arouse thyself to punish all the nations. Show no mercy to any iniquitous traitors. So he's praying against his enemies, Melech Dawid. He's praying against his enemies because we could do that. You know, we could call out to God against those who are trying to come against us and trying to destroy us. And unfortunately, it was Israelites at this point. But Melech Dawid has to survive because it's his life. And he's asking God to protect him. He's asking Yah to look over him, to watch him, and to get his enemies. It says here, thou therefore, Yah, God of hosts, rise thyself to punish all the nations. Show no mercy to thy iniquitous traitors. Selah. They return at evening, they howl like a dog and go round about the city. So they return at evening, they howl like a dog and go around about the city. Behold, they belch out with their mouth, swords are in their lips. For who doth hear? But thou, O Yah, shalt laugh at them. Thou shalt have all the nations in derision. Because of his strength, I will wait for thee, for God is my high tower. So Melech Dawid always went to Yah. He always consulted with Yah. He had his moments where he lapsed, but all in all, he always consulted with Yah and always looked for the favor of the Most High in order to strengthen him and help him to continue with the ordeal that he was going through. It wasn't easy for him to become king. You know, King Shaul was trying to kill him. David didn't want no parts of King Shaul because he was the Lord's anointed. King Shaul started growing envious. They called it the green eye monster of envy. Crept in, and he just couldn't control himself. It says here, the God of my mercy will come to meet me. God will let me gaze upon mine adversaries. Slay them not, lest my people forget. Make them wander to and fro by thy power, and bring them down, O Yah, our shield. So he says, slay them not. So this coincides with David not wanting to kill King Saul. Remember, he had several opportunities. The first time when he went into the cave, he cut off a piece of his garment. The second time when they all fell asleep, he took his spear, and he took his water bottle and called them out and told them I could have killed them. But it wasn't that David wasn't, David just didn't want to do it. But David was praying for the demise of his enemy because King Saul became his enemy. Not by David's design, but King Saul made himself David's enemy because he understood that David was the next one in line. Saul understood that. Verse 13. Of their mouth and the words of their lips, let them even be taken in their pride, and for cursing and lying which they speak. So, they was making up a bunch of lies for people to try to come against David and put David to death. And one of the things that David did is when he came into the army of the living God, that automatically everybody began to like him. And that's unheard of because he moved through the ranks. Remember, he defeated Goliath, and then he was going out on raids, leading troops without even war experience. But it was the spirit that Yah gave him that allowed him to go out and come back in, never wounded in battle, never even touched in battle. King David. Verse 14. Consume them in wrath, consume them, that they be no more, and let them know that God ruleth in Yaakov unto the ends of the earth. Selah. So David was praying for the death of his enemies. He was praying for the death of Saul. He just wouldn't do it, but he was crying to the Most High and making the Most High because they made David's life miserable. He had to run through the forest. He had to constantly be on the run, be with the Philistines, be over here, be over there, hiding out with a bunch of men, not knowing where their next meal was coming from. It was real out there in the field for Melech Dawi. Turn that evening, they howl like a dog and go around about the city. So this is David describing how if he will go to one place, Saul will follow. I mean, they will come after David no matter where he was at. They will come after him to try to kill him. They wander up and down to devour, tarry all night if they have not their fill. But as for me, I will sing of thy strength. Yea, I will sing aloud of thy mercy in the morning. For thou hast been my high tower and a refuge in the day of my distress. O my strength, unto thee will I sing praises. For God is my high tower, the God of my mercy. So David said, even with all of that, I still sleep easy. Because I know that thou art my high tower, meaning that you are my protection and that you will show mercy unto me. And why would you anoint me to be king and don't allow me to be king even one day? But he just had to go through his adversity. So this is what it is. I thank the creator of heaven and earth for this day, food, clothing, and shelter. Thank the Most High for the holy Shabbat day. Thank the Most High God for each and every one of you. I hope that you've gotten something out of what I brought forth today. And that the Most High be with us all. So thank you the Most High Yah for all things and everything. Out there looking good. I guess I'll see everyone tomorrow. I don't got anything else to say. So with that, Torah Yah for knowledge, wisdom, and understanding once again, and Torah Yah for all of our lives. Shalom, shalom.